Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We are going to be looking at how to add virtual site visits to your economic development organization website. My name is Elisa Sklar. I am the Vice President of Marketing here at GIS Planning. I'm delighted to welcome you all here today. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've had this huge resurgence in interest in virtual tours for economic development. Now, this is already an important issue in commercial real estate, in fact, in residential real estate as well, of course, prior to the pandemic, if we can remember that far back. But there's no question that restrictions on travel and needs for physical distancing and all of those things have made it harder to go out and view properties that are being considered for investment, for business location decisions, and adding virtual tours to your sites and buildings database, making sure that that technology is available so that prospective investors or businesses within your communities seeking to expand or relocate, so that they can check those things out and qualify their decisions further, narrow those lists down, create long lists, and shorten them to short lists, and then ultimately even make decisions. It's really important to consider how you can build that into your economic development organization offerings, and most importantly, to put it on your website, because your website is, of course, the public face of your organization, and we know that site selectors and prospective investors and businesses making decisions are on your website. And often they're doing that without you even knowing that they're there. So they may not reach out by emailing or filling out a contact us form or calling you, but they will be doing their research and analysis online. So it's absolutely critical to make sure that we put this technology out there for them. So my goal today is to kind of give you an overview of how that might work and how you might actually take advantage of it. Just a couple things about us. GIS Planning, if you don't actually know us, we have been around for more than 22 years. We are the original disruptors in online GIS data tools for economic development. We are the industry-leading online GIS software for economic development and corporate site selection, and you can find more about us at gisplanning.com. There we go. You probably are familiar with our Zoom Prospector tool. This is an example of a property report from Beacon Council in Miami. And you can see that images, videos, and of course, Google Earth Map functionality is built into the tool to make it clearer than ever to get different kinds of imagery and pictures about the tool while you're actually in there. So part of what I'd like to do is talk about a little bit about virtual tours themselves to understand them. We know that they definitely help leads qualify themselves. That's really critical because it gives you greater reach. More prospects will be interested by the additional information. So this is something you can use in online marketing, on social media, in newsletters, in different kinds of outreach that you might be doing, such as email campaigns. Now, clearly, virtual tours also showcase property attributes, and using a virtual tour allows you to focus on key attributes or features of the properties that are particularly important. So if a very luxurious historical interior is something that you want to show, that's something you could put in there. If there's 20-foot high doors in a industrial facility, that's something you want to point out because maybe you're the maker of a wind turbines, and those massive doors is something you want to showcase. So being able to use the virtual tours to pinpoint those very specific features helps draw additional attention to them, but it also makes the sites and buildings tool on your website that much more usable and important to prospective investors. Now, obviously, virtual tours avoid unnecessary travel. We know that site selection, while it may have slowed a little bit due to the pandemic, it certainly has not stopped. And overall, you'll have a greater return on your investment for something like this because you're putting that information out there so that people who are not able to get on a plane or get in the car or however they want to travel to you, they can still do some of that vetting online. And when they are able to find this information, you may find that you end up actually on people's lists simply because you're offering information that others are not. And certainly virtual tours make for eye-catching marketing. They're very easy, as I said, to share on social media and e-newsletters and online presentations. So we really want to make sure that we are using them to their maximum effect. Now, there's lots of different kinds of virtual tours. Not all of them are created equal, but they do offer different kinds of information for people. So certainly 360-degree virtual tours is one thing that we like to see. Digital flyovers, 3D architectural renderings, 3D rotation, Google Street View, drone videos, very big right now. It was big before, but it's certainly expanding. Interactive interiors, virtual reality, and other kinds of custom tours. There's lots of different ways to do virtual tours and to showcase the properties that you've got for you. So one of the things that we did with Zoom Prospector is we've built 360-degree virtual tours into every property on every Zoom Prospector for all of our clients. This is automatically included. You don't actually need to do anything. And we did this with Google Earth because it really made it possible for people are very familiar with Google Earth. We're using Google Mapping anyway, so this is something that's already familiar to people, for example. But what this actually really does is, excuse me, puts that kind of visual right there. People don't need to learn about it. They don't need to be trained on it. They can just click on a virtual tour button and they'll be able to see those things. And the coordinates is just another way to help people kind of position themselves in terms of their localities. Now, the thing about this, of course, is that you are using what we always say, which is show, don't just tell. That visualizing data is absolutely critical. And it's possible to use these 360-degree virtual tours both in rural areas and in urban areas. Now, obviously, in urban areas, you're going to have those taller buildings, so you're going to have simply just more depth. And sometimes Google has gone in with more granularity closer up in very dense urban areas. Nevertheless, it's still quite easy and possible to show what that actually looks like. Let's take an example of that. This is the Miami property that I was looking at before. If we click on virtual tour, it's going to take us into Google Earth. It's a little bit slower because I'm running GoToWebinar at the same time, but you can still see how this actually works. Because we were starting on the West Coast over there. It's the last place I was looking. And now it puts us right in to Miami. So you get a bird's eye view of the property. You get this digital flyover. You're now capable of situating the property within the surroundings so you can see what other properties are right around it. And you're also able to get a sense of what the terrain actually looks like, what the roads look like, what access might be like. There's a variety of different ways to be able to look at that. I'm going to take us back over to our presentation and let's take a look at another one. Okay, so here we can go down. We see another profile over here. This is in Long Beach, California. It's going to move us over from the East Coast where we were in Miami. So that's the last place. We're going to fly across the country in a way that isn't so possible for most people most of the time right now, and we get a chance to see what this actually looks like over there in Long Beach. And of course you can see you've got the biological reserve at the top. It's showing us other kinds that the IRS building is right next door. There's an aquarium not too far away down the street. So you do really get a sense of what that looks like for different properties. I'm going to take us back over to our property here. To our presentation. When you get this slide deck, which I'll include in the follow-up email, feel free to click on all of these hyperlinks. They are live in there and you can take a look and see what that looks like. So this is basically the digital flyover that is already built into every single property that you've got in Zoom Prospector. But we know that there are clients who also want to add additional materials. And I gave you a list before of the different kinds of tours, the 3D architectural renderings, the drone video. There's lots of different ways that people are able to do that. So I'm going to just close out some of these links over here. And let's see what that actually looks like. We've got over here this custom tour button. So that's something that we are adding in anytime a client chooses to put in additional media in their custom tour area. And this is important because it won't be there if in fact you're not actually choosing to do so. So there's lots of different kinds of virtual tours that you can see. I'm going to just show you some videos here in a moment made by different third-party vendors that do a great job. We have lots of clients using Golden Shovel, Neon Cloud. There's Bryce Productions in Southeast US working for a lot of the Southeastern states. I can show you an example of those. And then we also have these interactive interiors. And I'm just going to take you for a quick look at one of those before I show you some of the videos. So this is built into, can be easily built in as a custom tour for any property. And what you see here is that if you click on any of the blue buttons throughout, it actually walks you through the property itself. So you can see a little bit more about it as you go in there. You can also use the buttons at the bottom. We can enter any of these different rooms. There's the rear entryway, so you can see what that looks like, the rear of the building as well, floor plan. And it's just another way to kind of have this immersive interior that helps people walk their way through the site itself. Let's see if we can take a look at some videos, because we've also got some great examples of different kinds of virtual tours. Let's take a look at another video that I've got over here. This one is actually produced by Neon Cloud. I'm not going to show you the whole video, but it gives you another sense of how these custom tours can be shot.
Escape 2.
Marble Falls.
Nadja? Yes?
Yes? Hey, Daddy.
What are you guys doing here?
We're playing. Yeah.
Good catch.
Say thank you, Daddy.
Thank you, Daddy. Come on, for Daddy.
Hey girls, Daddy's gotta go, but can you give me a kissy? I'll be back soon.
Okay.
I'm not going to show the entire video here, but I think this really kind of helps you understand how showcasing like the significant things like access, rail, interstate, but also helping people through animations to understand how a site can be developed is just another great example of how to actually do that. I'm going to close this one out. Let me bring you back over to our main screen here. Should be able to see it. No, we're going to stop that one. I want to make sure that you can actually see my screen. Let's try that. Bring you over to my main screen. There we go. Okay, I've got you back. That's great news. So lots of different ways to do that. The last one was produced by Strategic Drone Services. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can find them on YouTube. Lots of really creative stuff happening. And many different people. It's becoming quite a crowded market in terms of commercial real estate virtual tours. I know that the ones that I've recommended here, Golden Shovel, Neon Cloud, Lackey Tours, they are specializing in economic development and corporate site selection. So definitely worth checking them out. Let's take a look at some other things about this. So anything else that you wish to add is entirely possible using that custom tour button. And that's something that I would look for in any sites and buildings database, is the ability to add things that you have or your brokers might have and make sure we can put those in there as well. Now, something else I wanted to give you a heads up on is a brand new product that we are about to debut called Zoom Tours. This was just an image of it, but I've been given permission to actually give you advanced viewing on what this might look like. This is still very much a beta version. The idea of Zoom Tours is this. This is basically a set of interconnected destinations. You can create as many Zoom Tours as you want. Once you have the software, you can create a Zoom Tour deck for the industrial properties in your area. You can create a second one for the museums and recreational facilities, another one for the bicycle paths and walking trails, another one for the Class A office space, whatever you choose to do. So this is all content that is basically uploaded by the client themselves. And as you move through the deck, what it shows you are different kinds of images related to each one of the stops along the way necessarily. So this is a kind of a destination on the way. So this tells us a little bit about it. The images would be added in here. Video is supported as well. Any text that you want to put in. It tells us, basically takes us literally on a tour of a region or a location. And this shows us more information about the area. You can scroll up or down on the text as it pulls you through there. There's lots of images that you can scroll through that kind of take you through what the property actually looks like. Let's move over to the next one. So we want to show something about interstate and rail. We want to show people, you know, the whole quality of life element of there that lets us see what this looks like. Gives us another bit of a sense of what it might be like to live in the particular area. You've got the maps over here. You've got the images that can be moved over to the side. We've got text in the middle, workforce, all sorts of information. We've got kind of, you know, Google Street View, something else that you can take a look at as you move through there. So this is a stock car races or museums. It lets you see a little bit more about that. And all sorts of information. It's really up to you. What you choose to do with this in terms of content is entirely up to the client themselves. You do not need our services to do this. We'll provide you with the software, the training, the instructions, and the idea is that you're able to enter into it as you like. Now, if you've got other GIS planning tools, it's possible to bring over maps and charts and property reports from them, but you do not need to have them. This is completely a standalone tool on its own. So we'll be announcing that in days to come, but I just wanted to give you a glimpse at what the future is. The idea of Zoom Tours is you can create them for a trade show, you can create them for a special event, you could put multiple tours on different places on your website so that people get a sense of the different facets or aspects of your community, and that's really quite useful. So how do you basically add custom tours? Very easy to do. In Zoom Prospector, the 360 virtual tour is with Google Earth. We also provide Google Street View. We offer 3D rotation. It is automatically added for every property. There's nothing for you to actually have to do. However, if you have custom tours, this can be quickly and easily added through the admin and the back end of the product that creates a custom tour button. You input any media that you've got there. We support many, many different kinds of media formats, and that takes you to the end. So basically, kind of a little bit of an overview of virtual tours for economic development and corporate site selection. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. You'll see there is a questions field in the GoToWebinar control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. You can always, of course, reach out to us by getting in touch with me, getting in touch with sales or support at gisplanning.com. If you would like to reach out to us there, that's certainly possible as well. We have not yet run into a format that we cannot support. So I know that's one of the questions that I usually get when we're talking about virtual tours, but we can help you use these custom tours in some very, very creative ways on social media if that's something that you're interested in doing. All sorts of really creative ways to do that. It helps you literally cut through the clutter when it comes to looking for you know, getting prospective investors to engage with you in different kinds of ways online. So very excited to see what that actually might look like. I'm gonna actually bring in an image over here from another screen so you can see an example of a client who recently did this. This is the Detroit Regional Partnership, and they basically use the the Google tour here. Let me just pull the volume down so we don't make it too loud. You can see that they're using their Zoom Prospector tool to create video, just screen capture video that they then use on LinkedIn. It really stops people in their tracks. And what I love about this is that they can do these featured properties of the week, featured property of the month, and it really gets people's attention when you're using social media. I don't see any questions appearing here, and I know we're coming up to the end of our half an hour. I'll just take us back to the questions field over here. So if you have any questions, you know how to reach me, asklar@gisplanning.com. Very happy to have you here with us today. Appreciate the work you're doing for your community during these challenging times. Stay safe, have a wonderful afternoon, and please stay in touch with us. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.